Well, here we are on day 5 of our Faith versus Fear podcast. So far we've explored fear and we've defined faith and we've looked at the internal battle and we've talked about the fear of the unknown. But today we shift from understanding to action because it's one thing to talk about fear and faith, but it's another thing to actually live it. And today's focus is simple, but it's powerful. Faith is the antidote to fear. So by now you've probably recognized that some fears in your life, the quiet ones, the persistent ones, the ones that influence your decisions. And awareness is important because awareness alone doesn't create change. Transformation happens when you begin to respond differently. So when fear shows up, and it will, the question is no longer, why do I feel this? The question becomes, what will I do with this? See, fear often starts in the mind. It shows up as our thoughts like, I'm not good enough. This won't work. Something will go wrong. And if those thoughts go unchallenged, they start to feel like facts. But here's the truth. Not every thought you have is true. Faith requires you to replace fear based on thoughts with truth. So when fear says you can't do this, faith responds with I can grow into this. And when fear says you'll fail, faith says, even if I do, I'll learn. So this isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing a perspective that leads to growth, not limitation. Faith isn't built on one big moment, it's built daily in small, consistent ways. So let's talk about a few simple habits that can strengthen our faith. The first one is prayer and quiet reflection. Taking some time to pause, to connect, to realign your thoughts. This creates space for clarity and calm. The second area is the mindset awareness. Pay attention to what you're telling yourself. Are your thoughts leading you forward or holding you back? A third is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's uncertain to what's already present, from fear to perspective. So even if something as simple as listing 3 things you're grateful for each day can begin to change how you see your life. And this is where everything becomes together because faith is not about waiting until fear disappears. It's about moving with fear, but not being led by it. And here's the key. You don't need to take a huge leap. You just need to take a small step. Send a message, start an idea, or have the conversation, or try the things that you've been avoiding. Small steps matter because every time you act despite fear, you prove to yourself that fear doesn't control you and that it builds confidence, not all at once, but over time. So let's paint a picture. Fear-led living looks like this: waiting for the perfect time, avoiding discomfort, staying in what feels safe but limiting. Whereas faith-led living looks like this: taking action when it's uncertain, accepting discomfort as part of growth, and trusting that progress matters more than perfection. It doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It means fear no longer makes your decision. So let's bring this into your everyday world. Overcoming fear through faith might look like this: applying for something that you don't really you feel fully ready for, speaking up when you normally stay quiet, and letting go of something that no longer serves you. And it could be starting something before you feel confident. These moments might feel small, but they are powerful because each one is a choice: fear or faith. And one of the biggest traps that fear creates is this idea that I have the right, I have to get it right. But faith shifts that mindset. It says, I just need to take the next step. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a complete confidence. You just need willingness. Because progress, not perfection, is what moves your life forward. So let's pause for a moment, let's take a breath, and reflect on this. What is the one action that you can take today despite your fear? Not 5 steps, not a big leap, just one. Something small but intentional, because that one step, it could be the beginning of something much bigger. Because fear may not disappear overnight, but it can lose its power step by step. And every time you choose faith, you weaken fear's hold. And over time, you build a life that isn't controlled by fear, but guided by trust. Tomorrow, we'll talk about what happens when faith turns into courage in action. So until then, take one step, even if it's small, especially if it's scary.